I had chapter 6 of book 1, and the title was The Shoemaker. So chapter 5 leaves off with Defarge, Lucy, and Mr. Lorry arriving at a garret, which is like an attic-like room. They open the room to an older man who's making shoes, hence the title being The Shoemaker. And then moving further into the chapter, the shoemaker is revealed or confirmed to be Lucy's father. Lucy had not seen her father in a very long time because he actually had been imprisoned for unknown reasons at this point in time. The meeting of daughter and father is kind of long and strange because her father, Manet, has been in solitude for so long that he's kind of like lost his mind. Solitude has taken its toll on Manet, and he lacks certain social abilities. It is difficult for him to respond and listen to other people, and when he becomes nervous or uncomfortable, he goes back to like fiddling with his shoes and shoemaking. Manet has obviously gone through traumas that are unclear to the reader at this point, either through isolation or mistreatment. Manet has obviously suffered mental damage. So upon recognition of Lucy's hair, comparing it to the hair that he had held on to while imprisoned, which is Lucy's mother's hair. So Manet had held on to like locks of hair, and I guess he kind of forgot whose they were over him being imprisoned, but he recognized that it looks very similar to Lucy's hair, so he believes that he knows her. Manet forms a bond with Lucy, and Lucy is more than willing to comfort and take care of her incapable father. While Manet lays with Lucy, they decide that they should take him to Paris right away to free him from solitude. So Manet trusts Lucy, I guess, and finds comfort in her, and she just wants to, get him away from, the garret and out of the imprisonment and solitude so that she can, nurture him back to, health and actually, have a father. Okay, now moving into the literary analysis. So there were a lot of similes throughout the chapter, and I'm only going to discuss a couple of them, and they pretty much described Manet's actions and behaviors. So here's one that was, "It was like the last feeble echo of a sound made long and long ago. So entirely had it lost the life and resonance of the human voice that it affected the senses like a once beautiful color, faded away into a poor weak stain." So that's describing Manet's voice and how he responds to people. There's another one that was, "The task of recalling him from the vacancy into which he always sank when he had spoken was like recalling some very weak person from a swoon." So that's talking about how he doesn't really seem fully there, that he kind of seems distracted. And then I have another one that is, "She held him closer around the neck and rocked him on her breast like a child." And that's obviously comparing Manet to a child, which kind of can be seen throughout the chapter because he has a certain vulnerability and he almost seems shy like a child meeting a new person. There's also an analepsis, which is just a flashback, and it gives more background on not only Manet but also Lucy. So this is Manet talking about when he had first arrived at the tower, which is where he was imprisoned. He says, "She had laid her head upon my shoulder that night when I was summoned out. She had fear of my going, though I had none. And when I was brought to the North Tower, they found these upon my sleeve." So that's him talking about arriving to the tower with her, which is Lucy's mother. And when it says, "they found these upon my sleeve," they're talking about Lucy's mother's hair. Okay, so themes. There was a theme of light and dark. Manet's shift from, dark to light when Lucy and him start talking, and he recognizes her. This can be seen in the line, "His cold white head mingled with her radiant hair, which warmed and lighted it as though it were the light of freedom shining on him." So that's literally showing her hair being golden and the sunlight shining on it, but it's also kind of him starting to remember, I guess. So yeah, Lucy's presence awakens Manet in a sense and begins his transition from isolation. Also in the chapter there was a lot of emotion, especially when Lucy becomes very emotional, obviously, and she goes on a speech or almost like a rant to her father, telling him that she will take care of him, that he has nothing to worry about, and that it's okay for him to open up to her. She repeats several times, "weep for it," meaning that Manet has gone through several traumas, obviously, but it's okay for him to find comfort in her. So I think overall significance of the chapter is to push the story further and to make the reader wonder a couple of things, to get them like more interested. One being what happened to Monet and what did he suffer while imprisoned. Two being why Lucy had not found him sooner. And three being will Monet recover from the tragedies.